I mean, I can train alone. I can be off like in a garage. I have a rack in my apartment. I can train alone. It's just and progress and do well, but it's just so much more fun, so much better, so much more worthwhile. If you can do it with a small group of people and like a team, or a squad that you kind of trust, and you all hold each other accountable and work really hard. And bonus points if you're all like pretty high level lifters too.
Can you talk to us about like what the how it is that you got to move back to Texas or that you get to and what that's going to look like?
Yeah, long story short, I'm going to be going there for my internship and residency. So what happens is after you finish a doctoral program in clinical psychology, usually you have to complete an internship that happens after you finish the actual doctoral program. And in order to graduate and actually have the title Ph.D. and doctor, fill in the blank with the name, Ruska, you have to finish internship, an APA accredited internship. That's kind of how that works. And then residency is just kind of like some additional training, basically. And once you're kind of done with all that, you're sort of set up to go somewhere, function essentially autonomously. But I have a great deal of autonomy already in my own practice with kind of supervision as a safety net. So I mean, kind of already doing those things. Internship residency would be a great opportunity to kind of hone in on like those basic sort of clinical competencies and skills, assessment, evaluation, testing, things like that, all of it. So it'll be good for me. Yeah, I basically you apply for internships, and what happens is you match with an internship site that also kind of ranks the students that they interview, and depending on where they rank and you rank, there's algorithms and stuff that'll sort of calculate where people will go based off of the best, sort of match that they get with a site. And I matched with my number one site, fortunately, which was BAMC Hospital, so Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio, Texas. So that's Fort Sam Houston. But yeah, that's where I'll be.
Did you want to go back to Texas this whole time, or was it just kind of like a happy occurrence when you found out about it?
I mean, I've been wanting to go back to Texas for the last like 2 or 3 years now.
So once you get back, where are you going to be training and who are you going to be training with?
I'll mostly be training at my home gym in Texas. Texas Strength Systems, TSS. My old home gym there was Olympic Gym, but that gym closed down a few years ago, which was really sad because that was actually the number one. That was my favorite gym I've ever been to. That was in San Antonio. I actually met Jay Cutler there, just kind of as like a side story. I was like 19 years old, kind of noticed him, and he noticed me. We met, chatted for a second, and stuff like that, and it was cool. And then when I was at the it was funny because I saw lines of people paying to like talk to him and see him, and I'm like, man, I saw him at a gym in San Antonio for free, chopped it up a little bit. So I'm like, this is kind of wild to me, but I mean, hey,
Did he know who you were?
oh, I didn't see him at the art. Well, I didn't actually go up to talk to him physically at the art. I was like, I'm not paying to go in line to
No,
talk.
I mean when you saw him at the gym.
Oh, when I first met him when I was 19. Oh no, no way. He just like saw me. He just saw like this huge muscle bound like 19-year-old kid and was like, hey. And we took a picture together, and I out-angled him in the picture, but
That's
yeah,
funny.
because at that point I was like, a muscular, husky 19-year-old kid, but it was fun. It was cool meeting him in person for sure. Very chill guy. That gym closed down. TSS opened up around the end of high school, closer towards, right before my freshman year of college. And then I looked it out of TSS for, all 4 years of college, of course, and four-time All-American collegiate powerlifter out of UTSA and out of TSS. So TSS is my home gym, and I love it. And I'm going to be training there a lot. And I'll also be training some at Blake Who's gym, Primal Strength. Blake's also a pretty good guy. I like him a lot too.
Mhm.
And he's got a good thing going on with Primal Strength, so I'll probably be there too as well. So probably bouncing back and forth, mostly between those two gyms.
So you're gonna have like three gym memberships basically.
Yeah, two or three probably. I mean, I still technically have my TSS one, so I'm like the staff there. Yeah. But I mean, when the gym opened up and stuff, I did a lot of work to help put that stuff in there. So it was.
Yeah, so you've earned it.
Yeah, and this I've known all of them for so many years now and stuff too. And they know if they need something that I would do it.
Who all are you gonna be training with?
Yeah, so depends on how everyone's kind of schedules are cut out, but a lot of the training is gonna be with my good friend of course Christian. big African dude. And then there's of course Jesus and Pablo Olivares, the super heavyweights. Jesus is the best pretty much super heavyweight in the world right now. Kind of looking forward to seeing what he does at his next meet in a couple of weeks. I think he's fixing to probably put up like a 2,500 total. So we'll see what happens.
Oh wow, that's insane.
Yeah, he's a really good, yeah, he's a tested super heavyweight too. He's really good. Very impressive. Very impressive lifter. Let's see. Yeah, so Jesus and Pablo, his brother, is also pretty impressive. So it's Christian, Jesus, Pablo, Michael Davis. Michael Davis is a very strong, like 231, 242 lifter. He's a tested guy. Of course, Shane Hunt. He's there. Untested 275. Looks like a lot of fun to train with. I mean, trained with him before. I really enjoyed it. So he's a good dude to be around always. Yeah, those fellas. I got a few other friends there too. Clayton, Ethan, and then of course Marcellus is down there, my coach, but he's in the Fort Worth area. But realistically, once a month or so, go up to Fort Worth or him come down to San Antonio. We'll just all train together. And I go to Houston all the time. It's like 3 hours away. Plenty of gyms there.
I feel like Texas has like the highest density of power lifters compared to any other state.
Yeah, especially like high level powerlifters. Like when I came here, there are like a lot of people that compete in powerlifting, but there's not like a lot of high level powerlifters, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I noticed when you were in high school, it seemed like a lot of high schools in Texas had a powerlifting team. Do you think that kind of contributes to there being so many powerlifters in Texas? Or like what do you think? What do you
Yeah,
think Texas's magic sauce is?
yeah, Texas has a lot of strong men. Football, a lot of programs, a lot of schools put their kids through powerlifting, like in the off season or wrestling or something like that. And a lot of them do powerlifting, and you've literally got like tens of thousands of people doing powerlifting in Texas, like high school powerlifting in Texas by members has the most members of any powerlifting federation in the world, like that are actively lifting. Yeah, Texas high school powerlifting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, at least it did a couple years back. It probably still does realistically, but I'm not sure. I haven't checked the numbers the last year or two.
Mm.
But yeah, just because there's so many kids competing. So to like kind of be the best in like THSBA, Texas High School Powerlifting Association, like to be number one in THSBA is basically like almost being number one in the world
Mm.
or for high school powerlifting. Like if you were
Yeah.
number one in Texas, you were probably number one in the world. Because Texas just had such an impressive depth of talent for lifters and stuff.
Yeah. How'd you rank when you were in high school there?
I was number one.
For weight class or across everybody?
I think both.
Man, just taking no prisoners there.
Yeah, because there was like a couple of really good super heavyweights back then when I was high school. There were a couple of other dudes that were in high weight classes that were really good for the time. I mean, one of them is a guy I knew in high school, and he actually one of them continued powerlifting, and he actually was a IPF world silver medalist in the open 264 weight class. And he was a pretty good THSPA lifter back in the day. And the depth of talent in Texas is pretty crazy for powerlifting. A lot of them just don't continue to powerlift after.
Yeah.
But I will say that there was a lot of definitely depth and talent in Texas, and it's good food, good barbecue, good community. Everyone's kind of training together, pushing each other. So I mean, it's like, it's no surprise that a lot of heavy hitters will come out of there.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty good population in Texas too, so the chances of things naturally occurring is also just higher.
Right. Do you think having that new environment to train in, or well, I guess going back to an older environment is going to change some stuff for you as far as like how everything's going? As far
Oh
as like
yeah,
your
like by a lot. Because every time I go down there for a couple of weeks, like I feel better, my training is better, I'm happier, like it's literally better in every way. Um, and then when I come back, it's just like a dark cloud kind of follows me all the way up back here, and I'm like, ugh, I really don't want to be here. But I make do. Don't complain
yeah.
about it. But yeah, man, I mean, there's not like a real community here. Like there are people here, but they're just so scatterbrained and they're all over the place. And it's really hard to string or pull together like a community or a team of people, just kind of get after it together, grow. Like you don't get that sense of community and home and stuff like that here that you do in Texas. And I think it makes a big difference for training, man. Like I mean, I can train alone. I can be off like in a garage. I have a rack in my apartment. I can train alone. It's just and progress and do well, but it's just so much more fun, so much better, so much more worthwhile. If you can do it with a small group of people and like a team, or a squad that you kind of trust, and you all hold each other accountable and work really hard. And bonus points if you're all like pretty high level lifters too. You don't have to be, like there's people in Texas I train with sometimes that aren't high level lifters, but they're amazing to train with.
Mhm.
And it's an amazing experience. But like having a team of just like heavy hitters and you're all kind of getting after it, you're all holding each other accountable, you're all elevating at the same time is completely different, like completely different than doing it on your own or training with a bunch of people who are just kind of you're not really training with, they're just kind of all over the place. So it's a lot different. There are a couple of folks here, like there are a couple of exceptions here that I've been able to meet, but even then, like kind of getting schedules to align and actually being able to train is really difficult. So
That's gonna be fun to see though, and I'm sure that's exciting for you being able to get back to more of a community.
yeah, it definitely will be. I've had more I've had a lot of fun competing still because I'll be in an atmosphere and around a bunch of folks that I'm intimately familiar with. But actually training and stuff like that, like as much as I love training, it just hasn't been as fun the last 3 years, 4 years versus like when I lived back home in Texas, or even when I lived in Alaska and I first started lifting, because again, there was much more of a sense of community and stuff. And it was, yeah, I don't know, it's just better.